So in this video, I'm gonna go over how to make basically a full-size building. This one, like most, save your file first. I will call it buildings and save. The way that I typically start this one is by going into document settings, change the units. After you click this drop down arrow next to document settings, hover over units, click the button that appears. Right now it's in millimeters. I am going to work in feet, or foot as this says, for my units. And then, like with most things, we're going to start with a sketch. I typically click right here so that I'm in the top view. I look at my view cube to make sure that I'm looking down from the top, and start with a 2-point rectangle. Right here's the rectangle. If you don't see the rectangle there, you can click the create drop down, come to rectangle, 2-point rectangle. Now this is going to be a full-size building, so I will make this one 30 feet. Actually, I want it to be 30 feet this way and 20 feet the other direction. And as you can tell as I zoom out, the scale is very different from where it started once I do it. And hit enter on your keyboard or click to place your rectangle. I'm going to show you guys how to make a hollow building where you have individual walls and just a solid building in case you ever want to represent a building. So once I have my rectangle to the correct size, finish the sketch, look at it from the home view. In this instance, I'm going to extrude it to 7 feet tall, say okay. Actually, I'm going to make it 8 feet tall because my doors are 7 feet tall. So 8-foot tall building, hit enter, and I'm going to create another sketch on the face of this building. There we go. We'll create a line. There's the line tool. If you don't see it, it's the first one in your create drop down. And this is another circumstance where I will use my construction lines. Construction lines give a reference, but when you go to extrude or modify your sketches, they are not included in there. So I'll click construction line to turn it on. I already have line selected. I will snap to the center of my building side. And in this case, I'm going to make the building 12 feet tall at the tip. And I'll select this check mark right here to finish the sketch, or finish the line, turn off my construction line. It's very easy to forget to do that. My line tool is still selected, so I will start at the tip of the construction line, come to the side of the building. And I'll do the same thing over here to the side of the building. Finish this sketch. Now it automatically went to the home view for me. Click extrude again, select our brand new sketch, and then instead of putting a side in, or a size, you can just change your view and click on the far wall. And then, there, that works. So we have the basic shape of the building we'll be working on later. To add doors and stuff, which will be more important on the hollow building, you just add a sketch, create a sketch on one of the sides, do your door, which will be 7 feet by 3 feet, click, finish the sketch, home view, and use your extrude tool to cut into the building. So if you're just making a solid building for reference, if you're pulling images off of Google Earth and trying to recreate the outline, that's a pretty quick and easy way to do it. But something that I find more useful when I'm designing things is to create the hollow buildings with individual walls that can be hidden, that are components, so you can add joints to them and stuff. To do that, we're going to start with a sketch. Make sure I'm looking down. Create a rectangle. It'll be 30 feet wide by 20 feet deep. And now that I have this, I can offset that rectangle. We'll do 0.5 feet. And hit enter to place it. So now I have, in this space, if I extruded it, it would be one solid wall, but I need to close that off. Each of the walls need to be their own profile that is closed. So an easy way to do that is just use your line tool and add 4 more lines, 1 to each corner, like this. There we go. Now I have 4 closed rectangles. I will finish this sketch, look at it from the home view, extrude my 4 sides, but I have to do them one at a time as new components. And I'm going to make them 8 feet tall. Right here's your distance for how tall they're going to be. Hit enter and my sketch disappears, but that's fine. Come over here to your browser, find your sketches, click the arrow next to it, and click the eyeball, and my sketches are back. Let's do that 3 more times. Click here, 8 feet tall, new components, say OK. And something that hopefully you notice that I'll show you here, I click that, 8 feet, and my operation automatically turns into join. But I don't want these to join because I want to be able to hide them individually. So change my operation to new component, say OK, do it a final time. Right here, 8 feet, new component instead of join, and say OK. Now I have 4 individual walls as components, and I can turn them on or off using the eyeball. And now we're going to do the roof similar. So I will click the side, create a sketch on one of the sides, one of the walls of my shop, turn on my construction line, select my line, snap to the center, see how the triangle appears. Gonna go up 12 feet, hit enter to place it, turn off my construction line. Now this time, we're gonna do it a little different. I will select there, start at the very tip of your construction line, and I want it to be, we're gonna go with 11 feet, so it goes just a little past. And there we go. And then I'm gonna come up 0.5 feet, and all the way up to there, at the peak, and down to here. We will do the same thing for the other side. So start at your tip of your construction line, snap to your side, and then instead of leaving it how it is while it's sitting there, press 11, and then hit enter or click. If I hit enter, it deselects my line tool, but it places the line where I want it. So I will reselect my line tool, come up, if you look right there, this square that appears where my new line is being formed, my old line was, that shows me that it's at 90 degrees, and that is what I want. I will hit 0.5 for my thickness, click again, and snap to this point. Now we're gonna make one more line just to be safe. That starts at this corner of the building and comes across to this corner of the building. Now we'll finish the sketch, look at it from our home view. We will extrude one side of the roof instead of setting a distance. I will click on this side of the building and make it a new component, say OK. Again, sketch disappeared. Come over here to your browser, hit the eyeball next to the sketch, select extrude once your sketch reappears, select your profile for your roof, click over here, it switches to join. I want it to be a new component, say OK. This time, we still have this gap here. So I will extrude that to the inside thickness of my wall, which is here. You could leave this one as join, so it'd be one solid piece on your wall. And I might do something funky to this top section later, so I'm going to make it a new component. And say OK. Next, we can do this side Probably the easiest way to do it is to create a new sketch on the opposite wall, click on your wall, select your line tool, and you have to make a closed profile again, so we will snap to this point, and snap to that point, snap from there to this point, and snap from this point to here. And now that the profile is complete, you can see that it's shaded inside of it. We'll finish that sketch, look at it from the home view, rotate to where I can see what I want to work with, select extrude, click the opening, change our views so we can select the inside of the wall. That gives us our thickness. Instead of join, make it a new component and say okay. So now we have a building with a roof that can be hidden, turned on and off, right there and there. I have little loft spaces I can play with later in case I want to put moving windows or something in there, and walls I can turn on and off. That gives us the exterior of the building, and what are we looking at time-wise? Oh, we're at 11 minutes. That's enough for now. I will release another video that shows how to put doors in here and add internal walls. But the short version of that is create rectangles inside of here and extrude them as walls, and create sketches on your walls that you can push in to cut out windows and doors. Alright, thank you for your time, and there will be more later.